Welcome back, Wildcat Nation, to episode 2 of season 5 of Wildcat Week, presented by Amplify Media. Micah and I will be spotlighting the baseball team here on campus. But before we get into it, here's Isaac Wolf with another week of Crossroads League in Review.
I'm Isaac Wolf with your Crossroads League Week in Review. In baseball, the only ranked team in the Crossroads League, number 18 Taylor, swept their weekend series with Bethel. The Trojans won all 4 games by at least 6 runs and became the first Crossroads League team to reach 20 conference wins on the season. Sam Glad had himself a weekend going 6 for 14 with 10 RBI and 6 runs scored, highlighted by a grand slam in Saturday's opener. Indiana Wesleyan made headlines with a pair of walk-off wins this weekend in the series sweep of Mount Vernon. In the second game on Friday, Jay Tomes' walk-off single sent Greg Vineyard home for the game-winning run. In the first game on Saturday, Luke Roman singled to bring Colin Yoder across in the bottom of the 10th. Taylor and IWU are top 2 in the conference standings, with IWU just 1 game behind. The two face off this upcoming weekend with a 4-game series at Taylor on Friday and Saturday. In softball, number 7 Marion swept Huntington on Saturday. Savannah Harwegger led the Knights on offense, going 5 for 8. Olivia Stunkel threw a shutout in Game 1 of the doubleheader with 5 strikeouts. Stunkel is now 16-1 on the season. Number 16 Indiana Wesleyan swept both Grace and Mount Vernon this weekend. In the sweep over Grace, Alyssa Wagner recorded her 600th career strikeout. In the sweep of Mount Vernon, Morgan Yater went 3 for 6 with 4 stolen bases. Yater is currently tied for second in the nation with 42 stolen bases on the season. The Wildcats remain at the top of the conference standings with a league mark of 18-2, while Marion is second place at 13-3. In track, Indiana Wesleyan put up 11 NAIA standards at the Lee University Invite in Tennessee, including 9 A standards, highlighted by Allie Hawk's program record time of 1 minute and 2.56 seconds in the 400 hurdles. Marion had a pair of their own program records at the Invite as well. They set the record for the 4x400 meter relay with a time of 3 minutes and 12.05 seconds, and Jacob Natral set the record in the shot put with a mark of 18.04 meters. In men's tennis, number 17 Grace extended their win total to 18 with a win over Indiana Tech 6-1 on Saturday. Number 24 Marion lost to number 13 Lindsey Wilson College of Kentucky on Saturday 4-1. The number 22 women's tennis team for Marion also dropped their matchup with number 11 Lindsey Wilson 4-1. Number 18 Indiana Wesleyan defeated Lourdes University 7-0 on Thursday for their 20th win of the season. They sit atop the conference at 20-4 overall and 8-0 in conference. That's all for this week with your Crossroads League Week in Review. I'm Isaac Wolf.
Thank you, Isaac, again for another week of Crossroads League in Review. Again, we're spotlighting the baseball team here on campus for episode 2. We have junior Quinn, Willard, and junior Drue Young today. And just to start us off, tell us how you guys got into baseball.
So I started when I was 4 years old. My dad was a baseball player, so he wanted me to play baseball. I started with T-ball, so that's kind of how I got into it, just a little bit of a rec league. And, that's pretty much it. I just started in rec league baseball.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. I think I started when I was 5 and then kind of just kept playing. It wasn't my main sport, actually, until my junior year of high school. I was, more of just a track guy, and then I decided that I liked baseball a little bit more, so my last 2 years of high school, I decided to focus more on baseball.
Track. Sorry, I was going to say track runs in the family, huh?
It does. My brother runs track here.
Really?
Yeah.
And kind of when did you guys decide, or what was that kind of moment, whether that was in high school or travel baseball, that you knew that you wanted to continue playing baseball in college?
Mine was after my sophomore year of high school. I was a 2-sport athlete. I wrestled and played baseball. So after my sophomore year, I realized that I sucked at baseball, and wrestling was taking a lot of time away from winter workouts and being able to train efficiently in the off season. So following that sophomore year high school season, I texted my wrestling coach and was like, "Hey, I'm done. I'm going to focus on baseball because I think I have a future in it. I want to go play college baseball." And he wasn't very happy about it, but that was the moment in time that I decided that I really wanted to continue my baseball career and take it to a next level.
Yeah, mine was kind of the same time, too. It was in between the summer of my sophomore and junior year. I didn't quit track, but I did quit basketball, which I was playing at the time, and just kind of devoted more time in the weight room and just training off season and stuff to give me more time. So, yeah.
And kind of what was that deciding factor to choose IWU over any other college? Or
For me, when I came on my visit, I just really liked the campus. I I'd had a couple other offers. Like, I had a JUCO offer in Tennessee. I mean, they were going to pay for literally everything, so I kind of had it made down there. But I don't know. When I just stepped on IWU's campus, it was super nice. I really liked how Coach Benjamin ran things when he was still here. The recruiting process through them was really smooth. And, like, I remember very specifically, like, the day that I came on my visit, like, me and my dad got back in the car, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to come here. So it was a cool experience, like, coming on the visit and then just knowing that this was the place.
I actually didn't come here my freshman year. I went JUCO my freshman year to Heartland Community College, which was like 30 minutes from my house. But I did get recruited out here out of high school, and I was pretty confident that I was going to come here. And I really loved Rich, and I love all the coaches and everything. But I decided to go JUCO. I don't regret it, but luckily after my freshman year, I texted Rich, and I was like, hey, I'd really love to come to IWU. And he let me back, and now I'm here, and really glad I'm here.
So both of you mentioned the coaching staff. So with the new coaching leadership, how do you think that's changed the team's dynamic, either in a good or challenging way?
That's a tough question, you know. It's been good. I think it's been good. It's a lot like there's really good structure now. We have practice plans, which we didn't used to have to do. Nothing against Rich, but like he just knew what he wanted to do in his head, and we just kind of did it as I guess he wanted to. But now it's like we have practice plans. Everything's super structured. It was definitely challenging at first just because of all the changes that were being made. We brought back Lucas Gooden as a assistant coach, so that was, I mean, it was different because we played with him last year, and, like, he's more of a teammate to us than anything, but, like, making that adjustment it was challenging at first because you wanted to be so buddy-buddy with him and friends, but, like, you got to just realize that he's your coach now. But, like, while it's been challenging, it's also been really good. It's been really fun. We've been really close and tight-knit as a team this year, and even with the coaching change, we're the same guys, we're the same team, so it's fun.
Yeah, I think also for, like, the offensive side, because Coach Benjamin was the one who ran the offense last year. Now it's Coach Friend, who's done a really good job of, like, kind of changing the way that, like, we did things in the past and, like, how our team has changed, because last year we hit a lot of home runs and hit a lot of extra base hits, and this year that's just not us, and that's totally okay. And I think just, like, switching like, the mentality that we have has been, like, a difficult change in the beginning, but it kind of, like, brought us together in the end.
And kind of while you guys are pretty much in the midst of a really busy time with your schedule and playing conference games back-to-back and all that, how do you feel like it's going for you this season individually and as a team?
I think as a team right now, like, it's going pretty well, but we've also had, like, really unlucky with injuries, so it's been, like, really tough, and we've had to face a lot of adversity with 5 or 6 guys that were, like, supposed to contribute a lot of time to our team have, like, gone down, and we don't know if they're coming back or not. So it's been, like, really cool to see some guys off the bench step up and, like, really, like, come into their role and, like, this opportunity that they have. So it's been really cool from that standpoint.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't even know what our record is right now, but, I mean, I think we're at a pretty good spot. Like Quinn said, we've had a ton of guys go down. That's so hard, like, from a team chemistry standpoint, because, like, I'm not saying that the guys that are playing in those spots aren't everyday guys, because they are, but, like, it's just so hard to deal with how many guys have gone down, and I'll give credit to where credit's due. Like Quinn said, those guys who have stepped up and started playing those roles have done a really good job at it. So I think that's really good from, like, a team morale standpoint, and it's fun to be a part of, even when things aren't going our way. Individually, though, like, I think this year's it's been a pretty good year so far. For me, I've had my ups and downs. It's how pitching goes. Baseball is a game of failure, much like the game of softball. There's been really high points. There's been some low points. There's been sicknesses, hurts, bodies hurting here and there, but, like, that's a game of baseball, and, like, it's fun to be a part of because once you learn to not ride the highs and lows of the season and just hold a steady medium and like just roll with the punches, it's so fun to be a part of because you know what you're capable of and how you can respond to lows and how you can respond to highs.
So based on the crazy success you guys had last year, do you think that that has played any part into pressure? Or do you feel any pressure from last season's success?
Pressure, not really, no. I think the only thing that has changed is teams want to beat us even more now, kind of have a target on our back. So it's like we have to get prepared that we're always going to face a team's best, even then like when we expect that we might beat them. Like they're always going to bring their best, and they want to beat us that much more now.
Yeah, and we had a little bit of struggle early on in the season. Like we lost one to Cumberland. Who else? We lost one to St. Ambrose. And, like, that's when I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, from an offensive standpoint, I think we were still trying to find our stride and, like, adjust to not hitting home runs every at-bat of every inning. And, like, I feel like those guys were still trying to find their stride. So, like, when we lost some games that we probably shouldn't have lost, it stings a little bit because those teams are, like, that's their World Series because of, like, how high of a standard we have here. Because, I mean, we're capable of going back to the World Series again and, like, people know that. And when they beat us when they shouldn't have, it's like they just won the World Series, and it's like, all right, dude.
Yeah, the amount of times that we've had, like, teams in the right field corner or left field corner, wherever they are, like, cheering after they beat us, it's just, like, crazy.
We've all been there.
It's kind of like Purdue, where,
Yeah.
like, Matt Painter says, we haven't had a team that's beat us that hasn't rushed the court. I think that's kind of how we feel this year, honestly.
And to be honest, like I feel like that's kind of like almost every sport at IWU, where it's just like they've had a lot of dominant success probably in the last 5 years, and there are certain teams where it's like, I think it was the women's tennis team, they've won like 38 straight years of conference championships, which is absurd. But like I feel like that's just because there is such a high standard, and there is this kind of pressure to not only have success in the classroom and in your spiritual life, but also in your sport. And I think that the coaches that IWU brings in kind of pushes all the athletes on that team to push all three of those areas to pretty much become so successful. And kind of going into that more, what does kind of the team do, or some of the guys on the team, or even the coaches help grow each other in your spiritual life?
Quinn can answer this one.
Yeah, so this year's been really cool from, like, the spiritual aspect side of the team. There's been, like, a group of guys, I'm trying to think, it's probably, like, 7 or 8 of us that have, like, devoted time out of the week to, like, turn our locker room into, like, a consecration room type of thing. And either Wednesdays or Thursdays, depending on, like, people's schedules, that we get in there for, like, an hour and we just pray over every locker and everybody on the team, and we just pray for each other and, like, stuff that we need. And we're actually on the 14th of April having 5 guys in the baseball team baptized, so we're really excited about that. So it's been just, like, a really cool year. And even, like, the other day at practice, we've been doing, like, player-led devotionals at the end of practice. And Dalton Miller, who is, like, he's one of our coaches and, like, the athletic chaplain for the school, he had, like, a spur-of-the-moment, like, altar call and had 3 guys on our team, like, accept Jesus. And it was just, like, one of the coolest moments I've ever been, because it's just, like, the end of a baseball practice, something you do every day, and there's just guys giving their life to Christ, and it's just the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Quinn knows a little bit more about, like, the internal part of that than I do, because he's, like, right, you're, like, part of the group that, like, meets in the locker room after our devotionals and stuff.
Yeah.
So he knows a little bit more of, like, the ins and outs of that. But from my perspective, we've done the player-led prayer groups. We've done the devotionals at the end of practice, and then, like, even the thing with Dalton, where Dalton had that spur of the moment and 3 guys gave their life to Christ. We've done a lot of stuff like that this year. We've had team Bible studies in the locker room after practices, and it's cool to see because, you know, there's some people that come here for sports and sports only, and it's cool to see, like, the ability for guys to realize that they're here for more than one reason. And, like, myself included, like, I was a sports only guy when I first came in, but like I've seen myself grow spiritually. Not saying I'm perfect at it, not saying I'm like amazing at it at all, but I'm slowly improving, and like having a group of guys that like devotes their time to doing these spiritually led things on the team like helps so much, and it's really cool to see because not all teams do that.
I definitely think this next question you kind of answered with the locker room thing, but what's one thing you think IWU Baseball does that sets you guys apart from other athletic teams on campus?
I would try to. I think like the locker room thing
Yeah,
definitely.
I've
Like
definitely
that.
never heard that.
That's just been like one thing that I feel like it started like a month ago, and it's just been really cool to see like the times that we've done it, just like the things that are like prayed and things that are said. That it's just like it's all God, like everything in there. It's so cool.
I'd say like from a practice standpoint, I don't know if it like sets us apart from other teams on IWU's campus, but like we have like really structured practices, and I mean I think that could set us apart from like other teams in the conference and other teams in the country, because like not all teams really necessarily have like amazing structure to practice. I mean I can't really speak on behalf of other teams in the country, but like that's my first experience with someone having a practice plan, and to go along with that, we have a word of the day every day, or like a quote of the day every day, and Coach Mack, like he pulls one from the internet or like looks up a Michael Jordan tweet or quote or something somebody said that's like super important that fits with our identity as a program, and I think that's kind of what sets us apart a little bit too, because he just gives us like that extra word of the day to kind of lead the practice and lead the week.
And transitioning back to this season, what do you feel like is your outcome as an individual, and kind of just what is the outcome of the team?
What do you mean by outcome?
Like, how do you think that the season's going to end for you guys? Like, what is the ultimate goal for you guys?
Oh, the ultimate goal is to go back to Lewiston.
100%.
I mean, Lewiston was awesome last year. We were like the Cinderella story. But, I mean, at the same time we weren't, because we balled out when we needed to. So I wouldn't really consider us a Cinderella story as much as people said that we were. So, like, this year's a chance to go back and prove it, that we weren't a Cinderella story.
Yeah, I think too, just like taking it a game at a time. It's easy to like look at it from like the big picture, and Mac always says it's like just take this one game at a time. Don't look at the series as a whole. Don't look at as the whole season as like a thing. Just like one game at a time, and if you just take it like that, then you'll get where you want to be.
So the last three questions are more the fun questions of the podcast. The first one is, what has been your favorite memory so far of being on the team?
I mean, I feel like the easy answer is Lewiston, Idaho last year going to the World Series, but I feel like I can come up with something better than that.
Yeah, that's the easy go-to answer right there. Shoot. Have you thought of anything yet, Quinn?
It's got to be. It's got to be the bus rides back home. Those things, they're just so fun. Like I don't know if I can come up with specific examples, but they're very fun, and the guys in there, we all bond well.
Yeah. Shoot. I don't know. Probably, like, when I first got here on campus, Brennan Moorhead and Luke Roman, like, the first night I got on campus my freshman year, they were like, you're coming to the fountain and you're going to sing karaoke. So, like, just got on campus that day. It's like, well, I guess I'm singing karaoke now. And it's like, somebody asks me about, like, what I did on my first day of college. It's like, I went and sang karaoke at a fountain. And there was, like, 3 or 4 freshmen that went. It was, like, me, my roommate Darian, Carson Gibson. There was other people there. I just forget who. But, like, I just remember going and singing karaoke at the fountain. So
I think that's a pretty good introduction to college.
yeah, it was interesting. At first I was like, are they joking with me? Like, are we actually going to go sing karaoke, or like, is this just, am I going to be there by myself looking like an idiot?
And kind of another fun, kind of just interesting thing. What is one fun fact about yourself, or like even just the team, that you think others would enjoy hearing, if that makes sense?
Can we give examples of both?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Got to ponder here for a
I
second.
know, I got to think.
This one we get the craziest answers on this one.
Craziest answers.
What was? Oh, never mind. I remember last week.
I'm trying to think. Just like in general, or like about like baseball, or
Anything.
Literally
anything?
Anything. Like this could be like you are like a professional gamer or something.
I wish.
You know what I mean? Like some random that like you don't think anybody would know.
Well, I think other than the guys on my team, like, I mean, I clean windows over the summer, so like sometimes I'll hang off the side of a building and hang it. We just got like a little rig on top of a roof, and then you take ropes down it, you tie it up, tie it off, and toss on a harness, and you clean windows.
What made you get into that?
Oh, it was one of my dad's buddies. I was just looking for work, and my brother did it the summer before, and I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll tag along. I hated it at first because I sucked at it, but then, like, once you get to hang off the side of a building, you're like, oh, okay. It's nerve-wracking, too, because I hung off of, like, 5 stories in Carmel, like 2 summers ago, and I got over that wall, and I'm sitting there, and I'm, like, shaking. I'm 5 stories up. These windows are, like, probably as wide as this whole room, and I'm just, like, reaching, trying to clean these things, and I'm like, I hate this now.
I think I got something. So last year, starting in, when was it, February? When did we play Cumberland's last year?
Yeah,
Was it, like, February?
second week into February,
Yeah,
I
so
think.
second weekend of February. It's like 4th game of the series. We're up like 7 or 8. I slide into second base, stealing a base, and I smack my face into the ground, and I break my nose. And I'm standing up there, and I had no clue, and I had like blood dripping down from my face, and the shortstop turns around, and he's like, hey, dude, your face is all bloody. I'm like, what? And I like wipe my face, and I have blood all over my hand, and my nose was broken. And then happened 2 months later where like my nose had healed, and I was on a golf trip with some of my friends, and actually it was a little longer than 2 months. It was in the summer, and broke my nose again, flipped the golf cart, same thing,
Gosh.
completely sideways, out, bloody nose, broke my nose. And then like a month and a half later, playing basketball with some of my buddies, got elbowed in the face, broke my nose again, broke my nose like 3 times in 8 months, and now I can't breathe out of the right side.
My goodness.
So did you get like a nose job?
No, they said they would not pay for it. Insurance will not pay for it, so I did not get it.
Because it happened so much? Or
I don't know.
because
They
of,
just
like, what
said they won't pay for it. So I went to like the nose guy, and he's like, yeah, you qualify, but your insurance won't pay for it. And I'm like, okay.
That's crazy. So the last question, we usually obviously don't ask this one, but as a softball player, I have to know, what do you guys think the biggest difference is between softball and baseball? And then I have a follow-up. I have a follow-up after that.
Ooh, are you gonna get mad?
No.
Okay,
I'll do a positive one. The length of games,
that's
so
true.
fast.
That is true.
So last week we played at Bethel, and you guys
Yeah.
started before, or you started after us and ended
Yep.
before us. And I was
That's
just,
what we were talking about.
I was
too.
sitting there in the outfield, and I'm like, this is the craziest thing. Like, what in the world? You don't even play that many more innings than us. It's just the fastest thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys play a doubleheader?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Because we only play, we run rolled them, so it probably was faster, but
So was it like a 5-inning game then?
yeah.
Both times?
I think so.
Yeah, so they
But
played.
like when we run it up,
Okay.
like the second time we beat them like 13-0, so
Still,
it
that
takes a
adds
minute
up.
to
Yeah,
score
that-
13 runs.
Yeah, that adds time.
So they played 10 innings versus we played 16.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
Ours took.
Yeah, usually we play 14, but we'll finish way quicker than
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
was-
because, I don't know.
Is yours not positive?
Well, I just feel like it's a lot harder to hit a baseball than it would be a softball. I can back this up. I can see both sides, but like we're further away and it's a smaller ball.
But we're closer and it comes in quicker.
I know. That's why like I feel like it would be harder to hit a baseball. But like I also know I would strike out against a softball.
Do we
for
know
sure.
like what an equivalent for like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball is to like a softball pitch?
it's like
no, but
it's got to be like 60 miles an hour for softball, right?
there was some softball analyst that was tweeting about it the other day because we just had D1 just had a pitcher throw 77 from 43 feet. And they were like, what does that transfer into baseball, you know?
We're going to look it up.
But I wish I knew. And then this follow-up was, what do you think's harder, baseball or softball? What do you think makes baseball harder than softball? What do you think makes softball
I
harder
think
than
both
baseball?
are hard. I would fail.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would agree.
fail.
Both are
I
hard.
don't know if I want to get on this debate. I would say baseball's harder. It's a bigger field. You got more ground to cover.
I agree in that. I think
I don't
outfield
know.
in baseball is definitely harder.
don't know.
'Cause you got so much more ground to cover.
I think both are difficult, and I would strike out immediately, and I would not even hit a ball.
Well, you also play football.
Exactly, and I'm gonna stick to that.
There you go. Just hit people.
Are you finding it?
Yeah, I found it. So,
Gosh.
I mean, I don't know how credible of a source this is, but it looks pretty credible.
Just
It's got a
just say
table.
hypothetically.
Yeah, we'll go hypothetically.
This is true.
It's around 62 miles an hour. 62 to 63 miles an hour in softball equates to, in baseball, 62 equates to 89.6, and 63 equates to 91.1. And that's based off of reaction time.
So,
Wait, what?
Wait, yeah, sorry. I got confused.
So a 62 mile an hour pitch in softball equates to 89.6 in baseball.
Oh, okay.
so she.
It's throwing like 130.
Yeah, like 100. No, well, that would be like what? At least like 110.
Well, it says 70 in softball equates to 101.2 in baseball.
She hit 77.
So
Not that our pitchers were hitting 77.
So maybe like
insane.
I don't
Let's
know.
see what 77 equates to.
I'm saying like one.
I'm interested.
113. 113
Like
is
that-
my prediction.
Dude, that is fast.
With how close
How
it
can you
is.
even see it? Like I would just be standing there and just be like,
What school was it?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. All the SEC schools are.
yeah,
good
of
at
course they have somebody throwing
baseball
77.
and softball.
This thing needs to load. It only goes up to 70.
What?
Dang.
Oh,
I mean, not many softball pitchers have went over 70, so
What's like the average speed that you guys face?
high 50s, low
High
60s.
50s.
Yeah. We have one pitcher who probably consistently is like 62, 63.
That's crazy.
Who is that?
Emma Ettercox. She's our quickest, but she's a little wild. Definitely our quickest. A little wild. But I'm a catcher, and she's definitely the one you can't set up early for her because you don't really know where it's going.
Fair enough. I'll answer your question about which is harder now.
I already know your answer.
Well, all right. I'm going to go with the latter and say softball's harder. That's not the answer you thought I was going to give.
No reasoning.
I just think that based on the evidence we just looked up,
Yeah, can I change my answer now too?
if you are facing 70 plus miles an hour in softball from 43 feet, is that what it is? That's got to be hard to hit. And my other thing is, like, you guys have rise balls, drop balls,
Curved, screw,
You got everything.
screw balls, curve
drop,
balls.
curve.
Yeah, like,
Yeah. That's the thing I was thinking about the other day. Like, softball pitches will move 4 directions, but can't baseball only move 3, right?
I mean, yeah,
You can minimally move, like
you can move 4
Yeah.
technically.
technically, but not as much as a softball.
Yeah.
Because in baseball, you can have a 4-seam that rides up in the zone, sliders that go left, for if we're speaking in righties terms,
Yeah.
and then sinkers that go to the arm side, and
Those are
then
weird names.
sinker.
Like, what, slider? What'd you
Yeah,
say?
slider.
You guys not call it slider?
Curve and screw?
Curve and screw.
For us, a curveball it drops straight down,
Like
Why would
12
that not be a drop ball?
and
A
then
drop ball.
I mean, I guess you can consider change-ups into like the drop and run action, so it kind of moves in a 5th direction.
I also feel like they're like 2 different sports. I don't know how.
I agree with that.
Some
They're
people
like,
are like telling me that like don't play it, and I'm like, I feel like they're 2 different sports because they're so far apart. Like softball's so quick, and baseball's kind of like slower and
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. They definitely are a lot
they
different.
seem similar, but they're not.
Yeah, agreed.
I think we can agree on the fact that hitting a ball
It's
is
hard. I
hard.
mean, that's
Yeah,
why
that's what I'm
hitting
talking
300
about.
is good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, both are hard.
All right. Well, that's all we have for this episode. Next week we will do episode 3 for track and field, And thank you guys for being on our show. I'm Abby Harvey here with Micah Roberts and our guests Quinn Willard and Drue Young here on Wildcat Week, brought to you by Amplify Media.